All right, today we wrap up Coriolis with two mini segments, two chapters. How do I want to call this? Yeah, two chapters, because that's what it is in the book. In this first one, we are going to talk about the people of the Third Horizon. Now, you might be like, oh, why do I care? No, we're not going to dive into every planet. We're not going to look at every little nuance. What we're going to give you is kind of the day-to-day how the Third Horizon feels as a potential player character in this universe. And it will hopefully help you think about how you'd want to play your character in one way, shape, fashion, or another. That's the wrong button. The core values of hashtag RPGate and any good tabletop group are escapism, not representation, entertainment over activism, and natural, organic inclusion, not forced diversity. Please follow that QR code or refer to the description below for the link to the charity we support, which is the Wounded Warrior Project. Thursdays and Saturdays, you can watch the Dirty Casuals on twitch.tv/Legion of Myth. Fridays and Sundays, you can watch the Friday Night Chill Stream and RPG Digest on our YouTube and Rumble channels. Please leave us a comment with your thoughts and experiences, and if you like our gaming content, please be sure to subscribe to Legion of Myth. My wife yelled at me about that. She says, you still say the Friday Night Chill Stream on there, right? That's like, I do? Oh. So
you do.
I'm going to have to redo that video at some point. Well, everybody still calls it the Friday Night Chill Stream. So anywho, all right, let's get to where my page notes there. All right. So there's our wonderful Coriolis book that we're going to see for the second to last time here. People of the Horizon. Now, we could dive down some crazy rabbit holes here. We're not going to do that. I've picked some certain chapters and certain paragraphs that I want to cover. The rest of it, you can get on your own if you want to read the book. We've already talked enough about the First Come. This basically just goes in to say, hey, the First Come are a little more zealotous. There we go. Is that a word? It's a word now. Than the Zenithians. Starfarers talks about, floating around the stars. Where's the one that I want to start with? Hey, scroll. Don't care about the language. We're going to start with the Humanites. Why? Because we didn't really talk about them a lot.
This isn't the Hanna-Barbera cartoon, right?
There was a Hanna-Barbera. No, I didn't even know that there was. Well, maybe it is. We'll find out. The Humanites are a scorned and despised group. Is that the Hanna-Barbera cartoon?
No.
Okay. They're modified humans created to perform certain functions or endure certain hardships better than base humans. Even the plebeians, whose work is almost the same as that of the Humanites, look down upon them. So if you're a serf, you're just a pleb. You're just like, oh, at least I'm not a Humanite.
Yeah.
The Humanites often live isolated lives in remote colonies on hostile worlds or distant space stations, like the Serb, for example. Is that a play on words? Some Humanites live as nomads after their employment or masters have disappeared, like the Jinghur or Lubao. Recognizing a Humanite without advanced sensors and biometric scanners can be hard, so why try? Tiny sculpts like reptilian third eyelids, extremity hearts. What?
Wait. Extremity means outside. Hearts on the outside?
I don't want that.
No, that sounds like a bad genetic modification. That sounds like a horrible mistake.
Unless it's like a Doctor Who thing where it's a second one or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but not in the extremities. I don't want my heart literally in my hand. That doesn't seem right.
I'm the ood.
There you go. That's horrible.
Okay, well, anyway, that just grossed me out. But yeah, tiny sculpts like reptilian third eyelids, extremity hearts, or modified glands are invisible. I don't think there's another one over here. Nope.
Oh, wait.
To the naked eye.
616. Do you mean Herculoids? Yes, I do. The Humanites were reminding me of the Herculoids, and it popped in my head and it came out my mouth.
Well, larger modifications usually are the result of cosmetic sculpting on Coriolis, the independent station Al-Alim, or in the Algolian Meat District. According to the stories of some of the more primitive peoples, there are Humanites that have lost almost all of their humanity and become more like animals. Oh, that isn't Shadowrun or anything, is it? Rumors claim
makes sense, right? I mean, if you're ostracized from society enough, you're going to divorce from that society. And if the society is humans, well, there you go.
Rumors claim that the Nekatra are actually the result of the Legion experimenting with lupine biocode. So we have werewolves.
Awesome.
Oh, that's one of the things I am not going through. I will not be covering creatures.
Okay.
So if you wanted to know about the djinn, buy the book.
Yeah.
Although we'll talk just a smidgen about them, I think, in this chapter. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Okay, we have a long part coming up here, so let's see if we can breeze through it without boring you guys. But I thought that this page, this is what the whole premise of this video is about. So we're going to cover this whole page, and there's no pictures on here, jerks. So there's going to be a bit of information. So let's get through this. Life for the inhabitants of the Third Horizon is governed just as much by the icon faith as it is by location and situation. One of the things we'll cover in a little bit is there are local icons as well. We just don't talk about them because it's like in Japanese. House gods? Yeah, exactly. My wife talks about how Japan has like 10,000 gods. Like she always jokes that there's a toilet god in Japan.
Yeah. Oh, there's also a Korean toilet ghost that is just frightful. Just
well, that explains hemorrhoids.
Well, actually, it strangles you with its hair and then pulls your dead body into the pit of poop that you're pooping in. It's not good, but that's one of them.
All right. Well, most people share roughly the same daily routines. Now you know what one of them is. And the division of the day into 4 watches: morning, day, evening, and night. Now, the 4 watches isn't pressed as hard in this game as it is, say, Coriolis and Twilight 2000, some other Free League games. But in typical fashion, 6 hours long. And they're called watches here. Other games are called shifts. I think in Alien they're called shifts. I forget what. Actually, Mutant Year Zero didn't call them anything. We had to look that one up, remember? Mm-hmm. So. The morning and day watches are devoted to work, and the evening watch to one's family. The icons are leisure. During the night watch, decent people sleep, but the party life continues for the privileged, students, and criminals. So all in the same. You could have just said,
Right.
True believers start each watch with prayer, but visits to a chapel or shrine usually take place at the end of the day watch or during the evening. In larger cities on Coriolis, life is rather easy in regards to supplies, food, entertainment, and information, but the lives of colonists, stationaries, nomads, and slummers are harder as one or more of these resources may be scarce.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. You're not going to go pray at the beginning of every shift if your family is starving. You're going to go find food. Yeah, right. I get it.
A day in the colony. Planetside colonists struggle each and every day. Keeping the colony safe requires constant work on domes, survival tents, or longhouses. Resources must be gathered and stockpiled regardless of whether it is lumber, xenoanimals, minerals, or artifacts. The day usually starts with a communal breakfast and prayer before the arduous labor begins. There's hardly anything in the way of entertainment apart from what can be imparted by free traders, hollow stories, news, or at best microtags with some bulletin shows. The night is spent guarding the colony against external threats. Now, somebody out there might be saying, why are you reading this? This just seems like mundane stuff. Because did you notice the big dichotomy? Are you starting on Coriolis Station as a rich guy? Or are you playing a nomad? Or are you a mercenary that's somewhere in the middle? This is giving you the concept. Also, one of the things I don't think I did a good job with is explaining to you that the whole Third Horizon, and I can show you the map at the end of this again, isn't fully colonized. There are places for you to go and hardships to have that aren't just space stations and people. Like I was telling Heathen Dog, I think before the stream started, or before this video started anyway, imagine if you came to Earth and there were only 1 million people here. Well, that's a lot of people. Not if you consider the entire planet. No, I mean, we have
1 million people on the entire planet. If you space them out as far apart as possible, it'd be like one person every 50, 100 miles, maybe. I don't know. If you ran into a person, it would be an event.
Right. So obviously there are little like communal centers and landing spaces and so forth, but that still means that most of a planet is ready to be either colonized or strip mined or whatever. So how about the space station? A day in the life of the stationary is similar to that of the colonist, but is centered on the space station's endless cycle of docking, loading, repairs, and service. The cold of the space, vacuum, radiation storms, and many other threats force the stationaries to live and work in shifts during all watches. When one group begins their morning watch, another group crawls into bed. The lack of space on board means that food and supplies must be rationed. So, what's the expense? Perishable goods, other than what can be grown in the hydroponic greenhouses on board, are rare luxuries. Of course, there's probably a little smuggling going on, a little what for. It's good to be a stevedore sometimes. How is this guy a stevedore? All he did was move boxes all day for his entire life. Retire as a rich man.
Because not all those boxes were technically legal.
Sometimes things went missing and
sold on the black market. How'd that happen? I don't know. It fell off of the space truck. I don't know.
Right. The supply of news and entertainment, such as holodrama, is usually good unless a station is very remote. Remember, Coriolis isn't the only station; it's just the center. Right. It's the primary one. Okay, get over here. A day in the swarm. What's the swarm? Well, for the nomad. Okay, now we know what the swarm is. For the nomad, every day is a journey, or so the saying goes. The nomads work just as hard as the colonists in stationaries, but enjoy the freedom of waking up to new valleys. Oh, is that how you?
Oases.
Yeah, I thought there should be an I in oasis. Am I wrong? Oh, anyway. Oases, moons, or systems, depending on how the group travels. Now, this is that whole thing of like, I'm homeless, so I'm so free. Are you?
Yeah. Well, it's the whole Ben Franklin thing, but in reality, sure, you have lots of freedom, but you have no security. Whereas people on the station or on a civilized planet, they may have less freedom, but they have much more security. Like we can go to sleep and not wake up dead as a significant percentage chance in my day.
And both theoretically have their benefits and drawbacks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Depends on how you want to live, man, or how you have to live.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And both of them have want tos and have tos.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? The day is not structured around the watches like that of other people, although the care for the life support, the hydroponics, and the reactors is very strict. I wonder why. We're in space. Let's see. I don't want to breathe. I don't want water. And let's not move anywhere to, maybe land to get some of those if we run out. The available entertainment is often indigenous to the swarm, such as leather ball. Is that like what was
either
the
basketball or football?
No, it's a triad from old Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, okay.
Where it's hockey and basketball in one. The available storytelling, dancing, or tarab performances. News and information are acquired at stops along the way, and what you don't know, as the smiling Ifrit would say. Okay, day in the city. In the cities, your social status determines everything. From the slummers at the bottom of the ladder to the privileged at the very top. In between the two live the plebeians, the entrepreneurs, and the bureaucrats. A day in the life of a slummer is a naked fight for survival, gross. Whether it's about finding food, shelter, or a safe place to sleep, it never ends. Alms from the faithful make it easier, but never easy. The slummers' perfect opposites are the privileged. Rich business owners, emirs, factionaries, and high-ranking officials who live off their savings. Or other people's savings, that's how I would do it. Yeah. For whom a day is usually spent trying to expand one's personal wealth. Power or influence. The privileged are the only ones in the horizon who have proper leisure time, perhaps devoted to hunting, racing, or just partying. Some of the privileged apply themselves to studying, research, or exploration, although usually as patrons for others who are less well off. Yeah, I'm not going to go there. That sounds dangerous. Yeah. So, Eden Dog, can you go explore this for me and then bring everything back?
Yeah, if you give me the money to do it, is it really my accomplishment or yours? Well, it depends who's talking. If you're talking, it's definitely yours.
Between the two extremes are the plebeians. The day, again, comma, inside quotes. Yeah, the day laborers, those who make sure the wheels keep turning. From the lowliest factory worker, the carriers in the jungle and mountains, the palace cleaners to plantation workers, light globe divers and dock workers. They're the ordinary people of the horizon cities. Their days are filled with hard work from morning to evening, interrupted only by short breaks and silent prayer. Sleeping is everyone's favorite hobby, with holodramas and drugs being the runners-up. This is Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, moisture farmer.
Yeah, I'm trying to put this in the context of, well, why does this matter if I'm an adventurer or I'm a character?
Well, I can answer that. I mean, that's easy enough. It doesn't matter where you are now. You're like you as a player character, all of your characters in your entire group are on a ship and you've decided to be mercenaries. Great. But that's not where you grew up. Where did you grow up? Did you grow up a slummer? Did you grow up a plebeian? Did you grow up where your father was a businessman? This is going to influence how your character sees and reacts to the world. It's going to influence your play style. And luckily you get to choose it at for most of the time. You get to choose this. So you can play however you want, but that's going to influence your background. And this is how it does that.
And I'm gonna Heathen Dog says it influences your playstyle. I'm gonna say it should. And even though his is more definitive than mine, I know that the way that I say it is telling you how to play, and that's what I want to do. It should influence your playstyle. But you don't need a 30-page backstory. In fact, we've already talked about character creation in Coriolis. It's just a sentence, but it's enough to know where you came from that now determines why you might have some skills you have and why you might act a certain way in certain environments. And the game master can use this as well.
Sure.
All right, let's move on to the next one, page 232. Yes, I'm skipping some stuff here. I'll let you see the chapter headings. Technology isn't a big deal. We covered a bunch of that already. It doesn't say anything, oh my God, important in there until we get to it says.
Oh wait, no, I have one question about communication, which I think is going to be important to gameplay.
Okay,
and you just passed it.
Yep.
But is communication faster than light? Is it light speed communication? Is it instantaneous, like some kind of Ansible type thing, or how does that work?
It's no, it's not faster than light. So that's why the people who pass along information through the portals.
Okay, so it's regular, light speed communication that we have now, radio, whatever. It just you have to wait to get it in bursts from incoming or passing by ships.
Yes.
Okay.
So well, here let's read this here just to make sure I'm not wrong. And I say that because I don't remember there being faster than light communication in here, but in case I missed something, to communicate in a city or on a station, most people use messengers or communicators if they can afford them. You hear that?
No.
Okay, good. Space stations have relay transmitters on board that make sure all communicators can reach each other, as long as their users have the identification codes necessary to find the intended receiver. So on a ship, that's almost like the Star Trek thing where you push the, hey, Mr. Spock, and Mr. Spock mysteriously could hear it, and it didn't echo through the entire ship. I was wondering about that.
You are an authorized user. You can talk to any other authorized user. I get it.
Newer cities usually have enough relays to make communications fairly reliable, although the variation between cities or systems can be big. So now we're still talking planetary.
Sure.
Supposedly, Lord Yunid Pas Dasmaku.
Sure.
If you name a character like that in my game, I'm calling you Bob. Had to wait 3 whole days to get an audience with the matriarch Amira because his communicator was unable to reach the guard towers in the Icon City. Okay.
It doesn't actually say about outside city or station communication. So
I know the bulletins updated. News and couriers news has always been distributed by word of mouth. Let's see if it says when the systems began communicating again, free traders were sent to the first were the first to start spreading news and rumors between systems. It was the bulletin which really organized interstellar communication. Okay, there we go. When it started supplying portal stations with their probes. The ownership of the probes also means that they are the ones who determine which news to spread. Well, probes go through the portals and relays on the other side to transmit the data to new probes to the next portal and so on. There we go. That's I forgot about the probes, but I knew it was with regard to the portals.
All right. So it's not specific ships, it's probes that are owned by factions, whatever, and they transmit information that they want people to know. Which is bad because that right there. Now we know that there is no freedom of speech in the Third Horizon. It isn't. It doesn't exist.
Well, you can pay to have something put on the bulletin.
Yeah, but they don't have to. They can literally just take your money and oh no, it didn't go to these systems because I didn't want it to.
The conglomerate, yeah. Now, with that said, there are enough like the nomads floating around. They spread news, but that's just not instantaneous. Yeah.
Yeah, it's slow.
But it's still quicker than you might think because if you say I pass information, I give you this letter because we're going to do it physically. I give you this letter. I want you to take it to somebody in another system. Okay, you've got to do launch and get to the ship. We'll just say that's a day.
Sure.
And then you go from here to the portal between a day and a week.
Sure.
You go through the portal. That portal transport is how long did they say it was?
It's a month prep, but it's instantaneous travel, but it's a month preparation.
Well, it doesn't have to be a month prep, but yeah, it's up to a month. It depends on your role. And if you find a caravan, and if but the point, let's just say you knock this out in time. Let's just see how fast this can go. So you get there, hey, the portal's opening up for you, or there are people going through, and or you can just pay the fee
to go on yourself.
You're rich. Yeah. So you go through, you're there on the other side. Well, what was the travel time? Was it a day or an hour? I forget what the travel time was. It's like a day or an hour. I forgot. Like you have to go into cryo sleep, but you get to the other side and then you just repeat the process. So it could be a couple of weeks, but it isn't like it takes 3 years.
Right.
To get something there to you. It's not like we're beaming it from here to Alpha Centauri. Well, 4.5 years later, it'll finally get there.
Right. Okay.
So, and then with a chain of free traders eventually going, getting from sender to receiver, package usually takes a week. Well, there we go. I knew it was a week in there somewhere. I just couldn't remember. I didn't remember that was in this paragraph, so I just saw that there. So, sender to receiver, for me to give it to you takes about a week to get it somewhere else. Now, culture, 32. Well, okay. I'm going to read the first paragraph here, and then we're just going to look at the headline so you can see what's here.
Okay.
Because we don't have to talk about all music and song. But culture is a big deal, so much that it is a skill on your character sheet. The icons and nothing else are what keep the horizon together, at least according to the old first come proverbs, followed by culture and family. Seth Magnolium, I'm going with Magnolium. I know that's not what it says, but that's what I'm going with. The famous agitator summed it up well when he said, the icons first, family second, and games for the people. That sounds very Roman. Except for be emperor first, wouldn't it? The different systems share some cultural references, but what counts as good or popular differs from system to system or even from faction to faction. The blood operas are appreciated almost exclusively in the Zenithian hegemony, while conservative factions such as the Order hold chant choirs in high regard. Oh, great. Hey, you want to go to a Gregorian chant with me?
Yeah, sounds like a great time. Who's going to smuggle the vodka? No, it doesn't sound like a great time at all. It sounds bad.
And so there's paragraphs here on music and song, literature and storytelling. Why is this in a gaming book? Because culture is very important in this game. We're just not going to dive into all of it.
This game is not telling you that you must play a certain way, but it's giving you information that they hope will convince you to play a certain way.
Yeah. It's also a lot of us, myself included. I lived in Kuwait for a year. I worked in Kuwait. I still couldn't tell you a lot about Arabic culture. So I would actually remove a lot of this just because I don't want to deal with it and handle it wrong. But for those of you who are good with it or enjoy this, you've got all these little, and it's only a paragraph. It's a long paragraph, but it's just a paragraph to give you an idea of what to expect. Obviously, lots of picture of dress, appearance. Yep. And what's the next paragraph I want to go to? 240. Wait a minute. Oh, crap. Okay. These are the months. And we are going to talk about time. I can't remember if it's this video or next video. But there you go. That's each one is 37 days.
Okay.
That's a month. They call it a cycle. So third horizon and Coriolis time is usually measured in cycle or Coriolis cycles instead of years. Sorry. Cycles are years. We looked up what a month was. I just know it was 37 days. 1 cc is the length of Kuan year, and it's divided into 3 triads of 3 segments each. Each segment is dedicated to one icon. There's an odd day between each of the triads. Those odd days are special holidays and are celebrated in a fashion reflecting the coming triad's icons.
Okay.
Got the icon, symbols, and so forth.
There's the 9
what page am I on here? 232. Oh, that's right, because I wrote this based on the book, not on the PDF. I actually wanted to cover this section. So, glad we started here. Book page, not PDF page. It's not clear exactly, because now why do we talk about the icons? Because we've been talking.
They are part of every single differing civilization or culture in the Third Horizon. Every single one.
Exactly.
They have this in common.
Now, I am not going to read through every single icon. I know there are only 9 of them, but still, we're not doing it. I'm going to read the beginning here. We already read the calendar section. I'm going to have Heathen Dog pick one, and then I'm going to cover one other one, and then we're going to move on.
Okay.
It's not exactly clear where the icons come from. This knowledge was lost during the exile from Al Arda. The Zenithians can shed no light on the matter, but this is of no consequence to the faithful. The fact that the icons exist is enough. The icons link everyday life with spirituality in many ways. The figurines on the altars of the people's homes, the talismans on the dashboards and bridges, the temples and chapels along the trade routes, in the villages, and on space stations are all links between the individual and eternity. The 9 icons are worshipped differently depending on profession, faction, and personal beliefs. In some places, they're even praised under different names, but... Hey, where's my thing? According to the Church of the Icons, they are still the same icon. The 9 icons and their followers are presented below. Now, we talked about the calendar just a moment ago because when I was looking at this, I thought I was going to talk about that. Slide over. The messenger. So if you see somebody wearing like a necklace with a scroll on it, that's somebody who reveres the messenger. Heathen Dog always wears a sweeping shawl. Because you got the dancer, you were born under the dancer. Now, that doesn't mean that he has to revere the dancer. It just means he was born under the dancer, and that affects what he can re-roll in the game. But he might be like, screw this. I'm just going to be the faceless one. Symbols are weird. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
All right. Which one of these do you want to look at?
Let's go the judge.
Okay, the judge is a very common one, so we'll look at that. And I'm going to do the faceless one because if you didn't pick that one, I was going to pick it because that's an important one to look at. So let's look at the judge. The gambler.
Here comes a judge.
Gotta know when to hold. All right. The judge, an old matriarch with a grave face and a sword at her side, is the common way to picture the judge. The judge's realm is that of justice and due punishment, hence the name. Early icon myths named the icon as either the blind or the warden, and many believe it is the judge who presides over the afterlife, accompanied by the gambler. No, I don't want the gambler looking at my soul.
Yeah.
By the gambler and holding a pair of scales. The famous mosaic in the Saras Temple on Minau depicts a judge together with the hyena-headed gambler who's trying to lead the ghosts of the dead astray. The martyr is another aspect of the judge and the most important icon to the order of the pariah. Kind of makes sense. Pariah, oh, woe is me. The martyr accepts unjust punishments, such as in the story of the woe of Chigis, where the martyr takes Chigis's place when Kahaz, the monster of the deep, is coming to devour her. The only sacrifice the judge desires is, I think it's next page, yeah, is confessions of one's failings and lies. Hey, man, you messed up. Just own it. Own it now. Not talking about the times you screwed up accident, but come on. There are times you could have done better. There are times you said a little something wrong. All right, and go ahead and give me 10 hail judges, and let's move on. And remorseful penance. Flagellation in honor of the martyr can be appropriate under certain circumstances, but is almost exclusively practiced by the order. So, there's a little paragraph in here about that. We've got the Traveler, the Lady of Tears, because, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And the Faceless one. I hope it's just, good. It's just one paragraph. See, Lady of Tears is crying.
Oh.
What do you think the Faceless one looks like?
Nothing.
Oh, fair. The secret among the icons is never pictured. Hence, Heathen Dog said nothing.
It's a law.
In temples and on icon walls, there's instead an empty place or alcove, or an asymmetry in the placement of the other icons. Not so long ago, many did not even know of the existence of the Faceless One, but the rise of the Church of the Icons changed that. On stage, the Faceless One is portrayed as a masked figure, all in black, that sneaks about the set. rearranging the props and giving or taking objects from the actors. Hey, get off! No, that's just called a drunk dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Could you imagine? Hey, Heathen Dog, you're going to be playing the Faceless one today. Oh yeah,
man,
there are going to be some sandbags falling from the ceiling today.
I am definitely not going to be invited to the after party.
All right. Where's my script? All right. The most common aspect of the icon is the shadow, although for a long time many thought of it as an evil spirit rather than an icon. The shadow brings madness by luring the soul out to the dark between the stars. The anonymity of the Faceless One makes for few sacrifices in its honor, except by those who have known and revered the icon for a long time, such as, the Black Lotuses. Remember them? They were the assassins. Valam's Temple, or the Carvor nomads in Aigi Uaru. Oh, okay, I guess that's a city. Aigi Uaru. Got it. The proper offering is often a mask, black or white stones, or a drop of blood from the believer. Here, have this. Never give blood. That can when gods and demons and jinn are real, you don't ever give up your blood.
Yeah, and the whole thing about, he just lost his tooth. That's so no, you take that tooth, you crush it and burn it. You make sure there is no biological anything. If you cut your fingernails and toenails, which you should, by the way, you should do that now.
Already did.
Dispose of them properly, because any material linked to you could be bad. When gods exist, shenanigans like this happen.
Yep, especially when people believe it. Unsubstantiated but persistent rumors claim that certain unsavory cults on Mira and Dabaran worship a perverted aspect of the Faceless One with human sacrifices to quench the icon's thirst for souls.
Hey, for all we know, that's the way to do it. The Faceless One didn't exactly give a roadmap to worshiping it. So,
it's a very Aztec way of thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Church of the Icons. What was I going to look at here? What page is this in the actual book? 237. So we're going to move on to 240. Again, it talks a lot about religion here because it is important, but I will let you guys, if you like the game, deal with that. Sacred rites. Remember we talked last week about rites. Mm-hmm. Now you can see what they are. The troublesome emissary. Now, we're still in the religion section, but this one is important. The ghosts from the gas giant Xene, often described as either spirits or spectral phenomena, have recently declared themselves the emissaries of Xene. Every time I hear emissary, all I can think of is Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, I know, right? It's in my head.
Yeah, the emissary. There are officially 5 of them, but rumors claim that there are really 9 altogether and that the Foundation and the Consortium are hiding the truth. One of the emissaries has named itself the Judge Incarnate, which the Order of Pariah views as heresy since the Judge, in its martyr aspect, is the only icon they worship. I'm not worshiping Ghost Man over there.
All right.
The Order has put the Foundation and the Consortium under pressure to extradite the emissary, threatening to send their antimatter armed warships to the Kua system.
Wow. Yeah. This is how important religion is, and how people react when they feel like you are diminishing their religion, changing it, or just being blasphemous in general. They're gonna bomb you to glass. That's how it is.
Well, antimatter is even to glass. I think that's just into nothingness.
Well, it's antimatter power ships. I imagine they're not shooting their gas on their.
These are religious zealots.
I just pictured that. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah. All right. Never mind. Carry on.
I mean, the Order of Pariah, or no, it was one of the churches, I think it was the Order of Pariah, shut down the entire portal system to their planet at one point. And we're convinced, no, you should open this up because we got a fleet. Fine. They shut it down again because of this. So you can't come here. Everybody go away. Bunch of heretics.
Yeah, if you want to go to hell, that's fine. You're not going to take us with you.
Right. All right. Faith of the factions. Sorry, we're reading this paragraph here. The religious factions of the factions differ greatly. The first-come factions are all dominated by religious and mystical ideas, but in different forms. Remember, they came first and came across, these icon things. By the way, we did not cover, and we are not going to cover, that the third faction knows about or third horizon knows about the first and second horizons. There's a big war, and the portals were shut down. The third horizon is out on its own now because of a big war with the first and second horizons. Two factions praise only one icon, the Draconites who worship the Executioner, and the Order Pariah who bow only to the Martyr. There are even some different practices within the Church of the Icons where the marginalized cult of the Circle of Seekers, remember they were first, view the icon faith as a rough but practical simplification of the great mystery of life. Sounds like some philosophy nonsense to me. And that each icon is its own way to enlightenment. The Zenithian factions distance themselves from the icons, but not openly for strategic reasons. An exception to this is the Foundation, which is in direct opposition to a worldview where the icons have any power at all. Their hardline scientific convictions have put them on a collision course with the Order of Pariah. Here's the problem with that. You live in a universe where something exists. Now, could the icons themselves be made up, just religious drivel?
Not really, because there's a substantial game effect. Now, is everyone magic? And it's just subconscious. They have to focus their thoughts on something to make it work. Hey, you know what? As a game master, if you want to rewrite the game that way, I can't stop you. But that's not the way it's written. Icons are real.
There's a Ravenloft novel. I don't remember which one it was, but it was a guy who did not believe in magic at all. And this is Dungeons and Dragons. He's like, no, I'm going to scientifically. It might just be the way, the tones that you use, their vibrations, their sympathetic, crystal emanations. I don't know. But there is no magic. We just have to figure out what the science behind it is. And that may be true. The Foundation may be right. That we haven't discovered what it is, but why are people all of a sudden becoming magical, having clairvoyant powers? And we talked about that in the early weeks of the game, right?
Yeah. If you can't explain something, it usually gets something slapped on it, some mystical nonsense slapped on it, just because you can't explain it any other way. And people love things that are explained. They hate things that they don't understand. So they make up something. That could be your game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I was thinking about this as you were talking. The order of reason from the mage setting makes more sense than the Foundation saying magic isn't real.
Yeah. I mean, because it's an energy we don't understand. Yeah.
Yeah, because at least even the order of reason was like, there's no magic, you weirdo. Okay, there's magic, right?
Yeah. They don't need to know that. They're too stupid to understand.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to look at just the first sentence of taboos here. There are many taboos on the horizon connected to the icon's vengeful tendencies. I lied. We're going to read more on that. Certain things must not be done or even mentioned. To speak of the dark between the stars is among the worst things one can do. What did I have you guys do when we ran Earth Dawn and anytime the word horror was said for the first 3 circles of your characters?
We had to visibly be hurt by it.
Yes. It's very similar here. For example, instead, people use metaphors or euphemisms. Other taboos include certain foods, not showing generosity or hospitality. That is a very Arab thing.
Mm-hmm.
Refusing to accept gifts and speaking ill of the icons. Crap, I'm from Minnesota. I have to refuse a gift 3 times before I'm allowed to take it.
Well, that's Japanese.
Well, Japanese refuse. No, Japanese don't have a word for no. They don't know how to say no. They'll just be like, oh, I don't know. It looks heavy. You put so much work into that. You should probably keep it. They don't know how to just
talk in excuses.
Yes.
Okay.
Talismans. Believers often carry talismans representing their favorite icon or church of the icons. Talismans are holy items and are often miniature sculptures or portraits of the icon. Read any more of that? Again, mentioning that for the purposes of you reinforcing the fact that there's religion all over this game. And local icons, I'm not going to read that, but I did mention that a little bit earlier, and Heathen Dog pretty much had the right of it. Spirits and Myths, I'm skipping that, sorry, but there are Jinn, and they are actually monsters in the game. There are good ones, and there are bad ones. Sorcerers. Oh, yeah, I was going to read sorcerers.
That is incorrect.
What? It's incorrect. What?
Monsters anywhere are all bad. That's why they're called monsters.
Well,
Duh.
okay, I called them monsters, and here they're called creatures or beings or whatever.
All right, well, that's different.
What? This is true. This is.
She ran out of excuses.
She's like, I'm kind of busy on that day, and
no, I cleared it with your entire family. You're fine. Oh, well, I have this stomach ache. Oh, I have a doctor right here with some Pepto. Oh, damn it.
My head hurts. That's okay. I'll knock you out. You won't have to feel it.
Here's some Excedrin.
All right. Sorcerers. Now, we didn't talk, just like the Humanites earlier, we haven't talked a lot about magic in the game.
No.
So let's do a little bit of that now. And I think this is the last thing we're going to talk about for this section. Apart from spirits and jinn, there are many other stories about the dark arts in the horizon. Parents on Kua and Coriolis scare their children with tales of the man-eating spirits that primitive first come called sarcophagi. Wait, sarcophagi? Really? Sarcophagi. Yeah, but all I had in my head was sarcophagus, really?
No, I understand. I get it.
In other versions, the sarcophagoi are spirits who infiltrate spaceships on long hauls, turning the crew against each other and sowing madness.
That's worse than a toilet ghost.
Yes, it is. When the crew has finally killed each other in their mania, the sarcophagoi feast on the corpses. Other sorcerer figures in folklore are the Bokor, who can reanimate dead cadavers. Oh, that's lovely. They're said to hang around the slums and tent towns and cities, such as, where that is, on the conglomerate. When it comes to the now extinct faction, the Nazarene sacrifice, the worst evils imaginable are mixed with a certain amount of truth. It's commonly believed that they practice human sacrifice, performed dark rituals, and formed unholy alliances with evil spirits and jinn.
Well, now we know why they're now extinct.
Well, do you also understand why, as magic is kind of popping up, that people are like, "Whoa, no."
Because in all their folklore, whenever stupid humans screwed with magic, you get the Nazarene sacrifice tale of woe and shame. It's not good.
I think that's it. Let me scroll down to verify. That's like an ending. Yep, that's some historical. There's Coriolis for you.
It looks like Starbase 1, Star Trek.
Yeah, the upside down version of never mind.
Upside down version of Starbase 1, or the actual version of Starbase 1.
All right,
from Next Generation and on.
The next thing we're going to talk about is Coriolis, but that will be in the next video. So look forward to that in a couple of days. And Heathen Dog hopefully will now show us some questions, comments, concerns that people had.
We have some.
Okay,
we have some. First one is new member.
Oh yeah, Bear. He did that on Friday. Actually, that was weird.
Oh, okay. He just became a YouTube member. Thank you very much.
So Bear's got a channel. If you guys don't know about it, go check out Bear the Gen X GM. He's a Canadian with he and I. What I like about him is that he counters me. He does it aggressively, but not like a dick, and so it makes for a fun stream.
How about this? Enthusiastically, but not maliciously.
I don't know if he's enthusiastic because he's not an excitable guy, really.
Well, okay. Well, enthusiastic for him.
Yeah, right. But yeah, definitely not maliciously. So.
Right. Rex Teal says, "Do you bow to the toilet before you do your business?" That's if you
do not.
If you believe you have a Korean toilet ghost. Okay,
I would, yes.
Here's the thing about Asian ghosts.
God, yeah.
If they haven't seen you yet, move. The moment they lock eyes on you, you're dead. They're going to kill you. There's no way to kill an Asian ghost, whether it be Chinese, Korean, or Japanese. The best you can do is trap it in something and it'll get out eventually. That's the best you could do.
And Japanese ghosts, well, the Asian ones in general, they're mean. They're not like our ghosts, and throwing dishes around.
To right or wrong. No, they're here to crap on your face. That's exactly what they do. So yeah, no. If you think you have an Asian ghost in your house and you haven't seen it, it hasn't seen you, move away. That is your only option. Then we have L saying you can say anything you want and everyone can mock you for anything you say. This is talking about, a general true statement, but this is talking about the whole freedom of speech doesn't really exist. It's an illusion in most cultures, but especially in Coriolis, because the actual official quote unquote newspaper or radio, these probes, is controlled by a faction.
A consortium.
So, yeah, by a consortium who won't want you to know everything because that would diminish their power. But there is what he said, that the nomads later on will give you information that you didn't get from the conglomerate because, rumors talk, people talk, but it's not official, so doesn't exist, right? That's exactly what they're hoping for.
Also, I mean, one of the problems with, we'll just say, modern culture, and I'm talking real world here for just a second, is that concept has kind of gone away, because that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, I want to defend your right. So let's use Coriolis. I'll defend your right to believe or not believe in an icon. Personally, I would defend it. I think you're kind of dumb for not believing in an icon, and I get to mock you for not believing in the icons because it's pretty obvious they exist, dummy. But you have the right to do it, and I wouldn't stop you from doing it. I'll just make fun of you. Nowadays, words are violence. You said poo-poo words to me, and I can't think straight now.
Well, then you should either toughen up or start doing heroin. Then you won't care.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Well, I hope everybody liked our coverage of Coriolis. We have one more video to go, which is going to be talking about Coriolis Station itself. It's going to be very similar in... I'm going to be doing that one very similarly to this. So if you like how I presented this, hopefully you like that. But Coriolis is the center of... it's the name of the game. It's also the center. It's the KUA system. It's the center of all the politics. It's the center of everything. So we need to talk a little bit about what's going on there without diving into what's in every single room on the dumb station, because the book will give you that. And I hope to see you then.
Woo!